Yo Pokemon fans, welcome to another top 10 video. This time I will step away from the waifu anime list and I will discuss to you my top 10 favorite starters. Of course, I'm also planning on releasing a tier list for Pokemon because I did release a tier list last year about shonen waifu. That's why I kind of need a top 10 shonen waifu. Last week I uploaded it. It's because of the tier list. So without further ado, let's get started with the list. Oh, before all that, I won't be including base stats on this because this is only my preference and what I always use every time I replay a Pokemon game. So without further ado, let's get on started with our list. Number 10, Incineroar. Okay, Incineroar, I actually did like the fact that it's in Super Smash Brothers. I feel like out of all the starters, it's basically the only one that can be in Super Smash Brothers out of all the Alolan starters. And take note that this is actually one of the two starters that I'm going to be putting here, that is Alolan starters. So without further ado, let's proceed into number 2. The only second gen starter in this list is Alligator. I don't know about Alligator, but since I first used it when I played Heart Gold and Soul Silver, or any ROM map that I played through, I always get a Alligator, and even when I get the chance to capture it and fire it in Leaf Green, I actually always get a Alligator right in the Savvy. I think it's available in Saviana, and I'm not really sure about that. I need to fact check that, but that makes it, I really love Alligator, and I think it's one of the most powerful of the Johto starter. I'm not really sure about that, but all I know is Meganium is definitely not one of those starters, those strong starters. So with that being said, number 9 is Alligator. Let's proceed into number 8. Number 8 is Cinderace. Okay, this is the only. Yeah, this is probably the let me double check. Yeah, this is definitely the only 8th gen starter in this list. Okay, I mean, it's a soccer player. Like it's a freaking soccer player. What do I need to ask? Like, what do I need to say? I love its aesthetics. I love its designs. The fact that I feel like it's the fastest one in all of the Galarian starters. Like even Scorbunny is the cutest one of all the Galarian, and definitely Team Scorbunny. The first time I played Pokemon Shield, I actually took a Scorbunny as my starter. So Cinderace all the way through. I love Cinderace. I'm excited for the Gigantamax and BT Dubs. I'm gonna discuss Gigantamax later on in the future, maybe as a review. So without further ado, my number 8 is Cinderace, the only Galarian starter on this list. Let's proceed into number 7. Okay, number 7, the seventh gen starter in my list is Primarina. I actually love Primarina better than Incineroar because of course it's because it's a mermaid, and you know the most popular mermaid that I actually know from anime is Shirahoshi, and you know, or we already know what I nickname my shiny BT does. I nickname my shiny Primarina. My shiny Primarina. Shirahoshi. I think I should show a picture of that one. I think I will really show a picture of that one. Without further ado, number 7 is Primarina just because it's a mermaid. Even though I don't really think. No, I feel like I don't think it's the strongest starter. I'm gonna fact check that again. But I just really love the design of Primarina. Without further ado, number 7 is Primarina, and let's proceed into number 6. Number 6 is Greninja, and yeah, this is the only 6th gen Pokemon with good reason, because I don't really, it's actually the generation that I have like least interest in Pokemon, because the first time I played X and Y, I played with the Fennekin starter, but the the final evolution for Fennekin is ugly as heck, and then I'm not a biggest fan of the Chespin line too, so without further ado, I actually love Froakie's actually grown on me. Froakie is by far at least the cutest one out of the Kalos starters, and then of course the most viable one for competitive is Greninja, and I totally understand why Super Smash Greninja is in Super Smash Brothers, because it's just overall a cool looking Pokemon. And without further ado, number 6 is Greninja, just because of aesthetics, and it can also be because I love Wi-Fi battles. I love playing around with Greninja in Wi-Fi battles as well. So number 6 is Greninja, and let's proceed into number 5. Let's head back to Generation 1 for my number 5 spot. It's going to be Charizard. Of course, I do love Charizard by the fact that Charizard is actually really overrated. I think it's enough for it to be number 5 on my list, because as you can see, I actually don't like the most popular kind of vote. So, well, even though it's the most overrated, I still really love a Charizard. Like, it looks like a dragon. It's really cool. I just don't like the fact that majority of the Gen 1ers or the toxic Pokemon fans is like the most overrated Pokemon for them. So just to trigger those overratedness of those fans, I'll put Charizard in number 5. And don't worry, there's also another Gen 1 starter that I think many of you will agree to me, like on the top of my list. Many of you will agree that it's definitely better than Charizard, design-wise and stat-wise and freaking type-wise. Without further ado, let's proceed into number 4. Enough triggering the Gen 1ers for my number 5 spot. Let's proceed to number 4. Like I said before, I actually started playing Pokemon Gen 3. I started playing Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green first. I got introduced to that line of games. So, without further ado, my number 4 and my number 3 spots is going to be consisting of 2 of my absolute favorite 3rd gen starters, which begins at Swampert. I freaking love Swampert, okay? Swampert, how can I begin? Like, it's just the movement of it in 3D, like, it's just so cool. The design is so cool, even in 3D or in 2D. So, Swampert for me will always be my favorite starter out of all. Of course, there's also the number 3 spot, which is reserved for another starter for 3rd gen starter, but without further ado, in 3rd gen is actually the first generation that I actually like all 3 starters, from Blaziken, Sceptile, and Swampert. I love all 3 of them, but there's 2 starters in general that I love more than the last one. So, further ado, number 4 is Swampert, just because of the design. Oh, my music's ended. Okay, and number 3, let's proceed to number 3, which is gonna be Boom Boom. Number 3 is Sceptile. So, okay, between if I'm going to rank Swampert, Sceptile, Blaziken, my least favorite from the favorite, of course I love all 3 of them. If I'm gonna rank them, Sceptile is probably one of my most favorite, and then followed by Swampert, and then Blaziken. But again, I love all 3 of them. Like, they have the best they're very well designed, and the fact that I think only Swampert has the no, firefighting. Yeah, Blaziken has firefighting, and Swampert has ground and water. So only Sceptile is actually a pure grass type. But in Mega Evolution form, he gains the dragon typing, which is pretty understandable. I mean, she's a lizard, and it's a lizard, and dragons are typically lizards, right? So it's understandable that the Sceptile is dragon type. I'm just surprised that they didn't make him grass dragon, which I think which confuses me, because I feel like they should have made that Sceptile dragon grass, but that would make it the most OP grass type. But I would be okay with the grass starter, with the dragon starter. I don't mind it because I love Sceptile. I love the fact that he needs to have the twig in his mouth. Like the first time I watched Ash's Sceptile, that was just so badass for me. Like, the fact that he's so laid back and he needs to have that twig in his mouth to be able to move a lot. So I kind of dig Sceptile's design. I really do love the Trico line. So without further ado, my number 3 is Sceptile. Let's proceed into number 2. Number 2 is Blasphase. I feel like no Gen 1er in the right mind would disagree that Blastoise is objectively the better designed starter of Kanto, and the better stat-wise, the better starter in the Kanto region in the first gen. I feel like every Pokemon fan would agree with me I feel like when I say Blastoise is by far the best choice when it comes to starter in the Kanto region. I mean, like with Blastoise you can beat Brock, the last one, the Brock. You can beat Blaine. You can beat Giovanni, because Giovanni is ground type, Blaine is fire, freaking Brock is rock. So you can practically have an easy game when you have Blastoise, and it's fairly fast with fairly high defenses, fairly high speed, fairly high offense. So with that being said, I feel like no one will disagree with me when I say Blastoise is the strongest Kanto starter, and by far the best design one too. Like, it's a turtle with a cannon on his back. So what's not to like, right? What's not to like? And I feel like even Screw Attack agree with me there. Like, Blastoise is definitely one of the strongest starters of the Kanto region. So number 3 is my number 2 is Blastoise. Let's proceed into number 1, which is my number 1 is pretty obvious if you know the name of my channel. So yeah, let's proceed into number 1. Number 1, let me start it off with the fact that out of all the Pokemon generations, 4th gen is by far my favorite Pokemon generation. I love the characters in Gen 4. I love the gym leaders. I think there's a pretty high difficulty in Generation 4. I love the gym leaders. I love the Elite Four, and of course Cynthia as the first female champion. I love her. She's fairly tough for me. Like, the fact that this Pokemon is always my starter. Cynthia is kind of a nightmare for me because that Garchomp would sweep would always OHKO my starter, and that is Infernape. Like, I'm the Infernape king. I love 4th gen. I love all the starters in Gen 4. Of course, my favorite of all is Infernape. I just love the fact that it's a monkey, like a fighting type that is a flaming monkey. Like, genius design right there. I actually love its viability and competitive, just because it can get Iron Fist, right? It's hidden ability Iron Fist, although I haven't really used Iron Fist that much because I prefer Flare Blitz Infernape, and Iron Fist is not for Flare Blitz because only for Iron Fist is only for punching boost punching moves, right? Like Electric Thunder Punch, Mach Punch, Fire Punch, like those kinds of moves. But I really do love Infernape. Like the first time I played through the 4th gen game when I was playing Deluge RPG, Infernape was always my starter. And just having a Chimchar, like Chimchar is the cutest base starter form of all time, man. Chimchar, then Morpherno, like yeah, that's just my own preference. I love Chimchar and Infernape. I love those lines. So number 1 for me is Infernape. That's it. That's my list. This list is based purely on my opinion. If you don't agree, please tell me what your own top 10 or what your favorite Final Evolution starter Pokemon in the comment section below, and please leave a like and subscribe for more Pokemon and anime related content, and see you guys next time.